Will Maryland progressives ever learn when it comes to the minimum wage? In case you missed it, there was a hearing in Annapolis earlier this month to increase the state's minimum wage from $15 an hour to $25 an hour by 2030. That's a 67% increase. And not only that, they want to tie it to inflation so that the minimum wage can increase every year after that without them even having to vote on it. And you know what this is about, right? Progressives have somehow tied together the idea of your self-worth with how much an employer pays for your labor, which is not at all how it works. Wages are a function of economics. It's compensation paid by your employer for your skill and your labor.
It has been studied countless times about how the minimum wage increasing has a very minimal effect on inflation. I'm talking a fraction of a single percentage. This paper was published in 2022, I believe. So it's in regard to like the fight for 15, consider the Raise the Wage Act and all that stuff. The analysis was that the move to $15 an hour would create a one-time step increase in the overall price level of less than 0.5%. And spread over 5 years, this implies an average boost to inflation of less than 0.1% per year. 0.1% near year, because you aren't just drastically increasing the minimum wage overnight. You are doing it in steps until it hits a target dollar amount and then adjust for inflation. Like I said, how this paper came out a couple of years ago, how over the past 2 years, meaning like during COVID and everything, inflation had ran about 100 times faster than that. And these large corporations absolutely can afford to pay people more. They can absolutely afford a higher minimum wage. Because, for example, during COVID and everything, the profit margins were up nearly 30%. Additionally, people are not advocating for higher wages and the higher minimum wage because of self-worth. It's about making ends meet and animalistic needs of survival being food, water, shelter. And people are having to choose between them. Understand that raising the minimum wage raises all wages. This is a well-proven fact because of a conservative argument even. They've just lost all principles and consistency, that they don't understand that employers want to retain employees making above the minimum wage, because when the power shifts to labor, they can reasonably say, why would I do this job with so much responsibility and like constant work when I can do this job that pays the same, I have less hours and less responsibility? Exactly. So then the employer is forced to compensate you more to retain you in that position. That's how it works. Imagine fighting for people and families to have less.